Hey, welcome to Shift. I'm Elliot Reed, and I am so glad you're here hanging out with me today. Have you ever had one of those mornings where you wake up and before your feet even hit the floor, your brain is already lagging? You're thinking about the email you forgot to send, the fact that it's library book day for the kids and you can't find the books, the weird noise the dishwasher started making last night, and the fact that you really need to buy kale because apparently you're an adult now and adults eat kale. By 8:15 a.m., you're standing in the kitchen staring at a box of cereal and you've completely forgotten why you opened the cupboard in the first place. Your internal processor is just spinning. You're frozen. In the tech world, we call that the spinning wheel of death. In life, we just call it Tuesday. Today we're talking about the heavy hitter, the break glass in case of emergency shortcut. We're talking about Ctrl Alt Delete. We're diving into the art of decluttering your mental RAM, how to prioritize when literally everything feels like it's screaming for your attention at the same volume. Because let's be real, if everything is urgent, nothing is. So let's look at the tech for a second. On the PC, hitting Ctrl Alt Delete is like staging a polite coup against your operating system. It brings up the Task Manager. The Task Manager is beautiful because it's honest. It shows you exactly which programs are not responding. It shows you that even though you're trying to work in Word, there's some random background update or a hidden browser tab eating up 90% of your memory. It allows you to see the invisible drain, and more importantly, it gives you the Force Quit button. It's the ultimate stop everything and let me look at the situation command. In our lives, we don't have a physical task manager window that pops up over our eyes, though wouldn't that be a lifesaver? Instead, we just feel this heavy, low-grade anxiety. Think of your brain like a computer's RAM, random access memory. That's your short-term working space. You only have a finite amount of it. Every unfinished task, every I should do that, every what if is a little program running in the background of your mind. When your mental RAM is full, you get glitchy. You snap at your partner over a dropped spoon. You lose your car keys while they're in your hand. You feel overwhelmed, not because you're weak, but because your system is literally out of memory. Ctrl Alt Delete is our reminder to pause, look at the tasks currently running in our lives, and decide which ones need to be shut down so we can actually function again. Let's get into the deep dive. Point number 1, the invisible drain of open tabs. Last week, my 5-year-old, Clara, asked me why I looked grumpy-faced while we were coloring. I wasn't grumpy at her. I love coloring. But in my head, I had about 14 tabs open. I was thinking about a client feedback form. I was wondering if I'd remembered to pay the water bill. And I was mentally rehearsing an argument with a guy who cut me off in traffic 3 hours ago. That's mental RAM drain. We often think we're overwhelmed by the big things, the job, the mortgage, the parenting. But often it's the sheer number of tiny, unaddressed background processes. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect. It's the tendency for our brains to remember uncompleted or interrupted tasks better than completed ones. Your brain literally hangs on to the unfinished stuff, pinging you every few minutes to remind you it's still there. Hey, don't forget the library books. Hey, you need to call your mom. When everything feels urgent, it's usually because the Zeigarnik effect is running wild. Your brain can't tell the difference between send the tax documents and pick up more sponges. It just knows both are undone. The Ctrl Alt Delete move here is to externalize the list, get it out of the RAM and onto the hard drive, a piece of paper. When you write it down, your brain stops needing to run that program in the background. It knows the information is safe. Point number 2. Identifying what's actually not responding. When you open the Task Manager, you often find a program you haven't used in 3 hours is the one hogging all the power. In life, these are our emotional background processes. I'll give you a personal example. A few months ago, I felt completely buried. I told my wife, I just have too much work. But when I actually sat down to Ctrl Alt Delete my day, I realized work wasn't the problem. The thing eating my RAM was a commitment I'd made to help organize a local community event that I didn't actually have the heart for. I was dreading the emails. I was overthinking the meetings. It was a background process that was not responding to my best interests. We all have these. It might be a toxic friendship you're trying to manage, a social media habit that leaves you feeling drained, or a self-imposed should, like, I should be making sourdough from scratch because that's what people do now. Ask yourself, what is running in the background right now that is providing zero value but using 40% of my energy? Is it a grudge? Is it a should? Is it a notification setting on your phone? Once you identify the drain, you can move to the next step. This is the hard part. Point number 3, learning to force quit. Sometimes the computer won't let you close a program normally. You click the X and nothing happens. You have to force quit. In life, force quitting looks like saying no or not right now to something that is technically important but currently destructive to your peace. It's the realization that you cannot reboot the system until you stop the program that's causing the crash. I have a friend who is a high-level executive and a mom of 3. She told me her force quit moment happened when she realized she was trying to be the class mom while also launching a new product at work. She was failing at both because her system couldn't handle the load. She had to hit Ctrl Alt Delete. She called the school, apologized, and stepped down from the volunteer role. Was the volunteer role bad? No. Was it urgent for the school? Maybe. But for her system, it was the program causing the crash. Force quitting is an act of self-preservation. It's admitting that you are a human being with finite resources. When you force quit a non-essential task, you suddenly find that the tasks you do care about start running faster and smoother. All right, let's get practical. How do we apply Ctrl Alt Delete when the world feels like it's screaming at us all the time? Here are 3 simple steps. 1. The brain dump. Clear the RAM. When you feel that lag in your brain, grab a piece of paper. Write down everything you're thinking about, from buy milk to fix my career. Don't organize it, just get it out of your head. This immediately frees up mental memory because your brain doesn't have to keep spinning to remember them. 2. Audit the not responding list. Look at your list. Which of these are actually urgent and which are just loud? Circle the top 2 that actually matter today. For everything else, give yourself permission to minimize them. You aren't deleting them forever, you're just closing the window for now so the main program can run. And 3, the 5-minute system shutdown. If you're truly frozen, literally walk away. When a computer is overheating, you don't keep clicking buttons. You let it cool down. Take 5 minutes. No phone, no noise. Just breathe. It sounds simple, but it's the reset your nervous system needs to clear the cache. Here's your challenge for the week if you're up for it. I want you to find one background process that's been eating your mental RAM, something you've been meaning to do or feeling guilty about, and force quit it. Either do it immediately, if it takes less than 5 minutes, or consciously decide, I am not going to think about this until next month. Literally tell yourself, end task. See how much lighter your processor feels once that one thing is off the list. Thanks for hanging out with me today on Shift. I know life can feel like a million windows are open at once, but remember, you're the admin of your own life. You get to decide what stays open and what gets the force quit. If this episode helped you breathe a little easier, please hit that subscribe button and maybe share it with a friend who's currently dealing with their own spinning wheel of death. Next time, we're going to talk about a shortcut that's a little bit dangerous if you're not careful. Control A. we're talking about the hidden cost of perfectionism and why trying to select all and do everything perfectly is actually the secret recipe for failure. We'll explore why good enough is often the ultimate shortcut. Until then, keep it light, keep it real, and remember, sometimes all you need is a little shift. I'm Elliot Reed. I'll talk to you soon.